Hello friends, have you ever noticed how your dog hides its face in its paws or burrows under a pillow after doing something mischievous? Or perhaps during a thunderstorm, your pet tries to hide its head anywhere possible just to avoid seeing and hearing what's happening? This behavior not only looks adorable, but also conceals amazing secrets of canine psychology, which we'll discuss today. Understanding our four-legged friend's body language is the key to building strong and harmonious relationships, so make yourself comfortable. There's a lot of interesting information ahead. Let's start with the most common myth. Many owners are convinced that when a dog hides its face or averts its gaze after misbehaving, it feels ashamed. But what if I tell you that all this time, we've been misunderstanding our pets? Scientists have conducted numerous studies and came to an unexpected conclusion. Dogs don't actually experience shame in the way we humans understand it. That guilty look with a lowered head and sad eyes isn't an admission of guilt, but rather a learned response to our reactions. Dogs are masters at reading human emotions, and they quickly understand that a certain pose causes us to soften. Remember how often you couldn't stay angry at your pet when it looked at you with those guilty eyes? Now imagine, you come home and see a torn pillow. Your dog immediately adopts a guilty appearance. Does this mean it acknowledges its guilt? Not exactly. Research shows that dogs display such behavior in response to their owner's displeasure, regardless of whether they committed the misdeed or not. This isn't an expression of guilt or shame, but an attempt to calm you down and prevent conflict. But if not shame, what makes dogs hide their heads? Let's figure out the true reasons behind this behavior. Fear is one of the main reasons why dogs hide their heads. When your pet burrows under a blanket during a thunderstorm, or hides its face in its paws during loud noises, it's following an ancient protective instinct. In the wild, dogs' ancestors protected the most vulnerable parts of their bodies, their muzzle and neck, from potential danger. Interestingly, a dog understands that its paws are too small to hide completely. But this instinctive gesture still helps it feel more secure. It's similar to how we humans close our eyes during a scary movie. We know the danger won't disappear, but it makes it easier to cope with fear. Have you noticed that some dogs are particularly prone to such behavior? Breeds with increased anxiety, such as Chihuahuas, Yorkshire Terriers, and some hunting breeds, more often demonstrate this behavior. But why are some dogs more fearful than others? It's all about a combination of genetics and experience. Some breeds were bred for heightened vigilance, which in the modern world can manifest as anxiety. Additionally, a puppy's early experience plays a huge role. Dogs that weren't properly socialized during the critical development period, from 3 to 14 weeks, often grow up more fearful. But fear isn't the only reason why dogs hide their heads. Let's talk about body language and communication of our four-legged friends. Dogs communicate with us and other animals through a complex system of body signals. Head position plays an important role in this communication. When a dog feels alert or curious, it raises its ears up and may lift its head. Conversely, a lowered head or hidden muzzle often signals submission or an attempt to avoid conflict. Have you ever observed dogs interacting in a park? When one dog acknowledges another's dominance, it might turn its head away or lower it. This is a way of saying, "I don't pose a threat, I acknowledge your status." The same thing happens when your dog hides its head after you scold it. This is its way of saying, "I submit, let's not conflict." But there are more down-to-earth reasons why dogs hide their heads. Sometimes it's simply comfort. Yes, some dogs burrow under blankets or hide their muzzles in pillows simply because it's cozy and warm. This is especially true for short-haired breeds like greyhounds or chihuahuas, which are more sensitive to cold. Did you know that dogs might hide their heads due to health problems? This is a less common but important reason worth knowing about. If your dog suddenly starts frequently hiding its head or rubbing its muzzle against surfaces, this could indicate dental pain, ear problems, or even neurological disorders. A particularly alarming sign is the so-called head pressing syndrome, when a dog presses its head against walls or furniture. This could be a symptom of serious neurological problems and requires immediate veterinary attention. So observe your pet carefully. Sometimes what seems like a cute habit might be a cry for help. Now let's talk about how to properly respond when your dog hides its head. Understanding the true reasons behind this behavior will help you better interact with your pet. If a dog hides its muzzle out of fear, create a safe environment for it. You can set up a special refuge or place where the dog can go when it's scared. This could be a crate with a soft bedding, covered with a blanket, or just a quiet corner in the house. The main thing is not to force the dog out of its hiding place when it's frightened, as this will only increase stress. What should you do if your dog hides its head after misbehaving? Remember that it doesn't feel shame, but is reacting to your emotions. Instead of scolding your pet, especially if time has passed since the misdeed, focus on preventing similar situations in the future. Provide your dog with enough physical activity and mental stimulation so it doesn't have the energy or desire to misbehave. Interesting fact: dogs that regularly receive positive reinforcement for good behavior are less likely to display a guilty look. This is because they are less afraid of punishment and more confident in their actions. So instead of scolding your dog for misdeeds, it's better to praise it for good behavior. Now let's talk about cultural differences in the perception of dog behavior. In Western culture, we often anthropomorphize our pets, attributing human emotions to them. We see a guilty look and think the dog feels shame. But in some Eastern cultures, such behavior is interpreted differently as a display of respect or submission. For example, in Japan, there's a concept of haji, a mixture of shame and respect, attributed to animals displaying submissive behavior. The Japanese don't believe that dogs experience shame in the human sense, but they recognize that the dog is demonstrating socially significant behavior. Interesting, isn't it? But let's return to our dogs. Did you know that some breeds are particularly prone to dramatic behavior? Huskies, beagles, and some terriers are known for their expressiveness. They might not just hide their heads, but also accompany this behavior with sighs, moans, and even something resembling talking. If you have such a dog, you surely know what I'm talking about. These breeds seem to have evolved to better manipulate us. They intuitively understand what behavior triggers certain emotions in us and masterfully use this. So next time when your husky dramatically hides its head under a pillow after you refuse to give it a treat, remember, this isn't shame, but a well-practiced strategy. What about puppies? They also hide their heads, but often for different reasons. Small puppies might burrow into bedding or hide their muzzles in their paws during sleep. This reminds them of the warmth and safety they felt when sleeping in a pile with their brothers and sisters. A sweet reminder that our adult dogs still remain puppies at heart, isn't it? To summarize, let's recall the main reasons why dogs hide their heads. It could be a reaction to fear or stress, a way of communication and submission, seeking comfort, or even a sign of health problems. But one thing is certain, it's not an expression of shame or guilt in the human sense. Understanding our four-legged friends' true motives helps us build more harmonious relationships based on mutual understanding, rather than on misinterpreting their behavior through the lens of human emotions. Now I'm curious to hear your opinion. Have you noticed your dog hiding its head in certain situations? What other interesting behavioral traits have you observed in your pet? Share your stories in the comments. I'll be very interested to read them. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. This helps our channel grow. Subscribe and hit the bell to not miss new episodes about the mysterious world of canine psychology. And if you know someone who also loves dogs, share this video with them, spread the knowledge. In the next episode, we'll reveal another intriguing secret of dog behavior that will surely surprise you. Until then, hug your pet and remember, even when it hides its head, its heart is always open to you. See you next time in the world of canine mysteries.